Those were the headlines, and now for the news in detail. His Majesty Sultan Qaboos has sent a cable of condolences to His Excellency President Sergio Mattarella of Italy on the victims of the earthquake that struck the central Italian region of Lazio. His Majesty the Sultan has received a cable of thanks from His Excellency President Ilham Haydar Aliyev of Azerbaijan in reply to His Majesty's cable of greetings on his country's National Day. Aiming to upgrade and promote the real estate sector and to highlight the concept of partnership between Oman Real Estate Association and public and private organizations, the activities of Dhofar Real Estate Forum 2016 started in the Governorate of Dhofar. The forum discussed the available investment opportunities and the volume of real estate investment. It further stressed on the importance of partnership and challenges facing the sector in Dhofar. Statistics of the volume of real estate trading were also reviewed at the forum, in addition to the means of maintaining its sustainability during the last years. The Ministry of Social Development signed 3 agreements with Omani Indian Fertilizer Company, or OMIFCO, in order to provide countervailing devices costing 50,000 Omani Rial to each of the following entities: Omani Association for the Disabled, Noor Association for the Blind, and Oman Association for the Deaf. Signing these agreements comes within the framework of social responsibility programs meant to support all segments of society which would contribute in serving the disabled and help merging them with the society. The Organizing Committee of Omani Products Exhibition, or OPEX, has commenced its marketing efforts in Iran to promote the upcoming OPEX event to be held in Tehran between 26th and 30th of September 2016. The exhibition aims to increase trading relations with Iran and boost local exports to new markets, as the Iranian market has the capacity to take in Omani products. Through this exhibition, Omani corporations and factories would get the possibility of searching for contracts and transactions with those in charge of current and future projects in Iran or Central Asia countries in various fields, mainly transport, constructions, and infrastructure. The activities of Gulf Poetry Forum concluded in the Governorate of Dhofar with the participation of a number of poets and researchers from the Sultanate and GCC countries. The forum aimed to promote cultural communication among the GCC states, paying attention to poetry and standard Arabic language, as well as highlighting the role of poetry in the Arab national culture and identity trends of contemporary poetry in the GCC countries. After 2 months of holding activities aiming to discover and develop youth talents, the Youth Summer Programs organized by the Ministry of Sports Affairs for Youth was concluded in the wilayas of the Governorate of North Batina. The program included training and scientific courses, cultural workshops, and exhibition journeys. Still to come in our news bulletin, an Afghan refugee engineer, drone expert, and lecturer at the New School in New York City is the founder of Drones for Refugees project.
هنا الرائحة العالقة بالذاكرة تأخذنا دهشة مختلفة لتبهرنا بجمالها الآسر حيث ملتقى الأسرة. امنح نفسك شغف التجربة، فهنا حكاية الجمال لا تنتهي. مهرجان صلالة السياحي 2016 من 15 من يوليو إلى 31 من أغسطس. عمان، المحبة والوئام.
Welcome back to the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. Turkey's defense minister said Turkish forces are securing the area around the town of Jarablus in northern Syria, a day after helping Western-backed Syrian rebels take the town from Daesh group militants. Turkey ISIC said today that the Turkish-backed operation has two main goals: to secure the Turkish border area and to make sure the Kurdish Syrian forces are not there. ISIC says it's our right to remain there until the Syrian opposition forces take control of the area. Turkey is concerned about the advances of the Kurdish Syrian forces, fearing they aim to set up a Kurdish entity along Turkey's border with Syria. Ankara maintains that the Syrian Kurdish militia is linked to Kurdish rebels waging an insurgency in southeastern Turkey. The UN officials said today that Russia has agreed to a 48-hour humanitarian ceasefire in the divided Syrian city of Aleppo to allow aid deliveries, but security guarantees are awaited from other parties on the ground. Staffan de Mistura, UN Special Envoy for Syria, said they are very much focused on maintaining their line. They want a 48-hour ceasefire, for which the Russian Federation replied yes, and now wait for others to do the same. Jan Engeland, who chairs the weekly humanitarian task force that met in Geneva, said that the UN relief plan for Aleppo has three elements, including simultaneous deliveries of food to the rebel-held east and government-controlled west, as well as cross-line repair of the electrical system in the south that powers water pumping stations that serve 1.8 million people. A joint investigation by the United Nations and the Global Chemical Weapons Agency found yesterday that the Syrian government troops were responsible for two toxic gas attacks and Daesh militants used sulfur mustard gas. The year-long UN and the Organization for the Prohibition of Chemical Weapons, or OPCW, inquiry, unanimously authorized by the UN Security Council, focused on 9 attacks in 7 areas in Idlib province of Syria, where a separate OPCW fact-finding investigation had already determined that chemical weapons had likely been used. 8 of the attacks investigated involved the use of chlorine. The Security Council would need to adopt another resolution to impose targeted sanctions on people or entities linked to the attacks. Rescue crews using bulldozers and their bare hands raced to dig out survivors today from a strong earthquake that reduced 3 central Italian towns to rubble. The death toll rose to 247, but the number of dead and missing was uncertain, given the thousands of vacationers in the area for summer's final days. The 6.2 magnitude quake struck yesterday and was felt across a broad swath of central Italy, including Rome, where residents woke to a long swaying followed by aftershocks. The tremor shook the Lazio region and Umbria and Le Marche on the Adriatic coast, a highly seismic area that has witnessed major quakes in the past and continued to shake early today with aftershocks. At a press conference, the UN Human Rights Chief today called an international investigation of rights abuses and violence in Yemen's civil war, which was killed thousands of people, as he insisted that a domestic panel set up to look into violations has not been up to the task. The call from the High Commissioner Zaid al-Hussein came as his Geneva office released a 22-page report chronicling abuses on both sides of the conflict.
We documented around 2,067 civilians killed, in addition to 2,800 civilians injured during the reporting period. The latest figures since March 2015, 3,799 civilians killed and 6,700 civilians injured. The High Commissioner called for establishing an international investigative mechanism to look at the violations, as it is apparently the National Commission cannot access all areas in Yemen. We are reporting the violations and there is a complete legal process by any international tribunal to decide on the international crime.
At least 12 people, including 7 students, were killed and 40 others wounded in an attack on the American university in Kabul that sent hundreds of students fleeing in panic before the assault ended when 2 gunmen were shot dead. Afghan police said the attack began yesterday with a large explosion that officials said was a car bomb, followed by gunfire, as suspected militants forced their way into the complex where foreign staff and pupils were working. Kabul's police chief said 7 students, 3 policemen and 2 security guards were killed during the attack, the second incident involving the university this month, adding that sporadic gunfire was continued until this morning. 15 years ago, he made the perilous crossing from Turkey to Greece in a tiny boat. Now, Mehdi Salehi is back on the Greek islands, armed with cutting-edge drone technology to do his bit in the search and rescue of migrants making the journey today. More details in the following report.
On the Greek island of Lesbos, Mehdi Salehi prepares for another flight. He fled Afghanistan 15 years ago and crossed to Greece in a small plastic boat. Now this drone expert wants to help other migrants making the perilous sea crossing.
We created a drone surveillance system for monitoring the safe arrival of refugees from Turkey to Greece or from Libya. We fly our drones over the route where refugees are crossing and then share the data via user-friendly online platforms for search and rescue professionals.
Over 1.1 million people, many fleeing the war in Syria, have crossed from Turkey to Greece since the start of 2015, with hundreds drowning en route. Out here, if a boat runs into trouble, those on board are entirely reliant on being spotted and rescued by a ship. By swiftly locating migrant boats in difficulty, Mehdi hopes his drones will save valuable time and lives.
When you see, you can make an idea of what kind of help they are going to need. If they need medical assistance, how many people is on board, if they had life jackets on them.
For now, the beaches of Lesbos are quieter, but with war still raging in Syria, Mehdi knows the next boat is not far away. With a larger prototype due to be completed by the end of the year, he's already looking for other uses for the technology.
For example, you're sending help over there and you have to communicate with refugees on the boat. There's no other way except displaying some sort of messages on a screen or something. Also, a first aid airdrop.
From his home in New York, Mehdi and his team plan to build bigger drones too, able to fly over larger areas of the sea. Playing his part, he hopes, in making sure the losses of life of last year are not repeated.
And now for the general weather forecast around the Sultanate. Cloudy skies will prevail over the coastal areas of the Governorate of Dhofar and its nearby mountains, with intermittent drizzle. The rest of the Sultanate will have clear skies with cloud accumulation and scattered rainfall over the Hajar Mountains. Low clouds and fog late at night and early mornings are expected over the coastal areas of the Arabian Sea. Winds will be northeasterly light to moderate over the coasts of Sea of Oman, while on the coastal areas of the Arabian Sea it will be southwesterly moderate to active. Seas will be rough along the coasts of the Arabian Sea with a maximum wave height of 3.5 meters and slight along the rest of the coasts with a maximum wave height of 1.25 meters. the Sultanate of Oman television. Before we end tonight's bulletin, here are the main points once again. Doha Real Estate Forum calls upon strengthening partnership between public and private sectors and reviews challenges facing the real estate sector. Turkish forces secure areas around the town of Jarablus in northern Syria from Daesh group militants. And the Italian earthquake death toll rises to 247, and the government launches urgent campaigns to search for the missing. With that, we come to the end of tonight's news bulletin. From all of us here in the newsroom and the studios, it's good night.